Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 2, the second episode of the series, which was directed by Deborah Chow and written by Joby Harold, Hossein Amani, and Stuart Beattie, and was released on May 27th, 2022. So yeah, a little bit later on this reviewing this episode, but you can check out my review of episode 1 also. But I thought this was another great episode. I would say I like the first episode more, but I still enjoyed this episode. So the first episode, we obviously learned that Obi-Wan leaves Tatooine to go rescue Leia. And so in this episode, we see him do that. And once he does, I really love the Leia in this moment. I loved how, sassy and how much of a brat she is to Obi-Wan. I just really liked it. Just really, I thought they really nailed what a younger version of Leia would be like. But one thing I liked also is seeing her not really trust Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan is being very secretive about everything to her, and kind of obviously make him and her not stand out, but also because he probably just doesn't want to talk about being a Jedi or anything like that, because in the previous episode we kind of see him a kind of darker, more broken point. But obviously in the episode we see the Inquisitors again and Reva, and because Reva knows Obi-Wan is on Daiyu, she goes there, but the other Inquisitors also are there, and after they all learn that Obi-Wan is there, the others tell her to kind of stand down, but she also doesn't listen and does what she wants to do. So she sends bounty hunters after Obi-Wan, which we get a scene of a bunch of bounty hunters getting the bounty on Obi-Wan, which I thought was alright, but I did feel like it was kind of retreading something we saw in The Mandalorian chapter 3, which was directed by Deborah Chow. In that episode, after Din takes Grogu back from the Empire, we kind of see all the bounty hunters on Navarro, getting the bounty for Grogu again on the tracking, thingy. So I felt it felt very similar to that, which when that Mandalorian episode, I thought it felt similar to scene you see in John Wick. I believe the second one, and technically also the third one, when John Wick is excommunicado, and we see him run through the city, and all the other assassins are learning about it, and that they can go after him and whatnot. Felt a lot like that scene in The Mandalorian, and it worked really well in The Mandalorian, but in this episode for Obi-Wan, it's kind of the same thing, and it just didn't have the same impact to me. Obviously, there's a moment I do end up liking about it later, because after Obi-Wan and Leia are kind of trying to get to the city, and like I said, Leia is kind of not trusting him, and being a little bit of a brat, I guess. One of the bounty hunters, confronts them, and so Obi-Wan has to take them out. And then on his bounty hunter's wristband, you see the bounty up on it, and Obi-Wan is trying to take it off, but Leia sees it and starts to really distrust Obi-Wan, thinking that he's someone who's also trying to take her away. So she tries to run away, and obviously Obi-Wan has to run after her, and they go to the rooftops of Daiyu, which some bounty hunters follow them up there, and they kind of get to the edge of one of the buildings, and Leia kind of falls down, so Obi-Wan has to reach out to the Force and catch her. And I really love that moment. Moment starts to build their trust together, and I really like that. But like I said, Leia, I really loved all the shit talking she was doing in the moments before that to Obi-Wan. One moment I really liked was Obi-Wan's telling her that if anyone asks them, to tell them that they're a father and daughter who are farmers on one planet, which Leia says more like granddaughter, and Obi-Wan is like, what did you say? And she's like, nothing. I really like that moment. I just really enjoyed that. Just Leia in the episode felt like what a 10-year-old version of the character would be, someone who's overly privileged and stuff like that. But, I thought there was some actual solid funny moments in the episode too, like that. Obviously, we see Kamal Nanjiani's character for the first time, which I really liked his character. Obviously, he's known for playing comedic roles, and he definitely has comedic moments, but I still enjoyed them, and I thought they worked just right, and weren't too much. But his character is named Haja Estri, and he kind of acts as a fake Jedi who's like grifting people into believing he's Jedi, a Jedi by using magnets and whatnot. But so like makes like he can use the Force and whatnot, which I really like that. But one thing I liked also is, even though he was doing it for all the wrong reasons, he actually was helping the people he was, grifting, or at least the people we see him help in this episode. And he also then helps Obi-Wan and Leia by telling them about this cargo ship, which has no humans on board and is completely, automated, just, flies by itself and whatnot. So, they can get off world because the Inquisitors have locked down all the spaceports on the planet. So, he tells them about that, and so they can head there. But obviously, Reva, starts to go after them, and she finds him, but he kind of gets in the way of Reva and saying, he's a Jedi and whatnot. But obviously, Reva, can read the minds of others, so she's able to, find out where Obi-Wan and Leia went, which that was the end of the episode, so I'll get into all that later. But, I'm going to talk about the Inquisitors a little bit more. I once again enjoyed them in the episode. I liked seeing the Inquisitors, not liking Reva, and, they don't like how fixated she is on Kenobi, which we do kind of learn why she might be later in the episode. But I like the scenes with her and the Grand Inquisitor and whatnot. Also want to talk about Obi-Wan, which, Ewan McGregor's, giving one of his best performances yet as Obi-Wan. I really love seeing him in this, broken state and whatnot. And just Ewan's performance has been selling it all. And it's been really great. One moment, there's a homeless clone on Dayu, who's once again played by Tamir Morrison. And, just the emotions Ewan was portraying in that scene were just great, because it's a scene that can feel kind of fan servicing and kind of like, this, but Ewan just sells that scene so much. You kind of see the shock and the, sadness and the, like PTSD. He's kind of getting all of that moment, and, he does, it's a homeless clone, so he ends up giving that clone some credit. So, that scene, though a scene what can feel kind of fan servicing and kind of, like that, it just works so well. Definitely because of the performance from Ewan McGregor. But there's several other moments I really liked from him, just giving a great performance. Also, one, I'll talk about that in a little, but also one thing I liked was seeing him, fight without his lightsaber, and because he's older, it's 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and he's just been on Tatooine in those 10 years, kind of in a broken state, like I said, and so we see him, fighting, like I said, without his lightsaber, so fist-to-fist combat and blaster combat, and he's struggling with it. Obviously, he comes out on top in all instances, but, he's not as, doing with ease like we saw maybe in the Clone Wars series. So, I definitely enjoyed that. I saw an interview from Deborah Chow saying that she took inspirations from two comic book movies, Logan and Joker, which I can definitely see the influences from Logan, showing a broken man who was part of something huge. Obviously, Obi-Wan part of the Jedi, Logan part of the X-Men, and that's kind of gone away. And now we see the characters older, past their prime, having to save a young girl, which, obviously that's very similar. And, I'm a sucker for those types of stories. I, loved Logan, so, I do really enjoy that. I don't know what really influences from Joker there's been. I will say I did not like that movie, so Logan, like I said, I really like, so I see those influences there, because the movie I've seen more than once. With Joker, I didn't really enjoy the first time I watched it, so I just I haven't seen it again, so yeah. But anyways, this isn't about all those. Let's dive into the final moments of the episode. So, Obi-Wan and Leia get to the cargo ship, and they're in the, kind of, I don't know, it's a little building, and then there's a little, edge area where you can get to the ship. They're in the little building area, and they're kind of talking, and there's a really nice moment where Obi-Wan kind of tells Leia about Padme, and, he says that Leia reminds him of her, and, he doesn't mention Padme by name, but it was a great moment, very, tearjerker. I really like that moment, but, Reva catches up to them, and so, Obi-Wan tells Leia to, run to the ship, and, if he can't make it, to, go without him, but, then we see him kind of, hide in that building by some, crates, and, he pulls his lightsaber out, doesn't ignite it, but, he's kind of holding it, getting ready to, and we hear Reva, talking to him, trying to bait him into, fighting her, and she starts to talk about Lord Vader, and, you start to see the shock on Obi-Wan's face, and, Reva, then says Anakin Skywalker, is alive, which is interesting that she knows, that Anakin is Vader, which, it makes sense why she's going after Obi-Wan, now, because, thinking if she can capture him and give him the Vader, Vader will, choose her to be his, apprentice, obviously a very Sith thing, looking out for yourselves and no one else, so, yeah, and, I would assume it's information she hasn't shared with anyone else, and none of the other Inquisitors, because, obviously the other Inquisitors, like I said, don't seem to like her, and, don't understand her, fixation on Obi-Wan. But, talking about the other Inquisitors, the Grand Inquisitor shows up there, and, starts yelling at Reva, and, starts to, lift the crates, where Obi-Wan is, hiding behind, but, Reva then stabs the Grand Inquisitor in the chest, which ends up allowing Obi-Wan to actually escape, and he gets to the cargo ship, and the episode ends with, him just kind of sitting there, shocked, thinking about Anakin, which it then cuts to, Vader in the bacta tank, once again played by Hayden Christensen. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack there. One, the Grand Inquisitor, being maybe killed is, something, which is, really, interesting. Obviously, we know somehow he, survives because he appears in Rebels Season 1, and dies there. But there is an issue of, I believe the 6th issue of the 2020, Star Wars ongoing comic series, where we see the Grand Inquisitor kind of alive, fighting Luke. In that, issue, it's more of a spirit, form, but he's very much, I guess, still himself, it's not like a vision or anything, so, I guess he could, somehow survive this, even if he actually dies during it, he can come back, and, obviously we've seen, several Sith, come back from the dead, like Darth Maul and Darth Sidious, or, / Palpatine, so, wouldn't be surprising there, it's something what, I would feel mixed about with a lot of characters, but because the Grand Inquisitor has been shown to, kind of be back after he died, it's something I'm definitely interested in. Obviously, there's more episodes. It could just be revealed that he just simply survived this stabbing, but, it's something, I'm gonna have to wait and see how it plays out in the next few episodes. It might end up being something that's not explored in this series, but, hopefully it is. I'm definitely interested in that to see how it plays out. Obviously, my opinions could drastically change in the next episode, to something either me hating it or, loving it. I I don't know. That's something I'm gonna have to wait and see about. But once again, I loved seeing Obi-Wan learn about Anakin. Obviously, it is like this is 10 years after. It's like, how did he not learn about Vader? There's the Hollow Net and whatnot. He could have learned about Vader from that. But how we've seen him, he's just living in a cave. He might just be disconnected from everything else what's going on in the world, or the galaxy. So it's something that's believable, and it is a moment what was great. I loved Ewan's performance once again in that moment. It was something what even though he could have easily learned about in the 10 years prior and whatnot, it's something what worked really well in the episode, and allowed Ewan to give this great performance he's been giving, and it was a great moment in the episode. So it's something I am fine with, even though it's something that he couldn't easily learn about it. But yeah. Anyways, that's everything I have to say about this episode. I talked about this episode a lot longer than the last episode, even though I enjoyed the first episode more, and there's a lot more I wanted to talk about in this episode. But I only enjoyed the first episode a little more. So yeah. But my grade for this one is an A-. So yeah, I've been really loving this show so far. It was a show I'll be honest, I wasn't looking forward to. If a year ago you had told me about the series, I've been like, yeah, it's gonna be cool to see Hoon and Hayden back, but it's not one I'm that excited for. But and the trailer started to come out, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this a little more. And then these first 2 episodes come out, and I'm actually really enjoying it. But hopefully the next 4 episodes I'm enjoying just as much as these first 2. So yeah, we'll obviously find out when those air, which I'll be doing reviews of them then. But that's gonna be it for this one. I've been Sarzi, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Is like an itch. He cannot help it. Where is he?